Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. We have had a crazy, crazy experience, everybody. Welcome. This is Rewind with Ro. I almost lost my voice there. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Happy Everything Day. I am Ro. I am your host. We have been on a hiatus for a little bit. We were busy with the Oscars, but I am your host. This is my co-host, Rob. How are you, sir?
I am great. I'm great. I'm still on a little high from last Sunday, but you know.
Okay. Rob was out there doing his thing, you know. Shirt was, I think 5 buttons were open on his shirt.
Maybe 6. There were 7. It was open down to the belly button.
The shirt only had 4 buttons, people. Anyway, how was your experience? Just how's your week been? And then we're gonna go in. So this show we're gonna do a recap of the Oscars. Sorry, everybody, I'm all over the place. But this show we're gonna do a recap of the Oscars. Our experiences. I was behind the scenes. Rob was right there in front. He got the better seat, of course.
In the mix.
I'll argue who looked better, though. I ain't gonna say anything, but that's for another moment.
We could duke it out and see.
Okay. And then we're gonna talk about just what's going on, lately in the streets. I am back in Miami. If you see, I got a little tan. Miami, listen, people hate on Miami. I'll tell you one thing, though, player. It's always nice here.
It's always sunny.
Yeah, it's always sunny down here, So, anyway, how's your week going?
The week's going good. Just living the life out here in LA. It's been a little rainy and cold. It's not rainy anymore, but it's still cold. So, we don't have that Miami weather. You took it with you.
I did. Before we start the show, I want to give a shout out RIP, sorry, from blackfilm.com to Lance Reddick. You've seen it. He's been in tons of movies, tons of shows, but most people know him for the Wick series. He was a brother that just had that demeanor. When he was on the screen, whether he was being harsh or just telling you to chill, you felt it. So I want to give a shout out to him. I don't know if you want to add anything, you being an actor.
No, I mean, just like you said, it's just sad we're losing so many talented actors and just way too young. I think he's only 60, and it's just sad to see all these extremely talented brothers leaving so soon. It's sad because they share their gift with us, and it moves us and changes us, allows us to have conversation and grow as human beings when we see these performances on screen, whether it's TV or film. But it's just sad that we keep losing so many wonderful young Black actors.
And it's also at a time where there's work. You know what I'm saying? That's the worst part. These brothers have worked their asses off, right? Pardon my French, to get to this point, and just taken away, and just the work they could be adding to certain films and certain features, opening up more and more doors. So shout out to him, rest in peace, and everybody, man, keep your head up, stay positive. If you're going through a tough time, they said it was natural causes, but you never know. But if anything, you always reach out to somebody. There's always hotlines. Talk to a friend. Talk to if you have your loved ones around you, your friends or family. Doesn't hurt. Say how you feel, man. Get a hug. Hug a day.
Hug. A nice hug. Nobody hates a nice hug.
I'm saying consensual hugs, though. You got to do it. Irregular hugs. Hey, you mind if I hug you? Okay, cool.
Yeah, because there was that awkward tap. We'll get into that later.
Yeah. Hey, man, it was a different time.
I mean that awkward tap on the red carpet at the Oscars on Lady Gaga. You didn't see that?
Oh no, I didn't see that.
When she helped the cameraman up, he fell, and then she ran over to help him up, and she picked him up, and then he tapped her on the butt twice. And her dress was sheer from the top down to under her butt, and then there was the gown.
Thank you, or it was definitely brother, come on, man.
I don't think it was intentional, but it was definitely she helped him up, and he it was a thank you pat, but it was definitely.
Oh, it was a good game? It was a good game?
Yeah, it was a good game tap, but her butt was exposed. It was sheer, and he good gamed her. But yeah, she you could tell on her face she was do I say something or I'm just gonna walk away?
I mean, you put yourself in a situation, right?
Yeah, he fell.
That's what I'm saying. You could left that brother.
Well, you saying her helping out being a good Samaritan.
Exactly. All right. So let's go into it, Rob. Tell me your experience. We'll both set it up how we started into the show, and then we'll talk about the show. So tell me, what was your kind of your week going into the Oscars? You have the ticket, right? You downloaded the ticket. You're trying to figure everything out. What's going on in your mind? What were you excited about? What were you nervous about? Go from there.
I was, my main struggle was what am I going to wear? I was like, because in my mind, I was like, I want to wear my sheer tuxedo shirt and give a little Timothy Chalamet, Lenny Kravitz on the, on my way in the door. But
you ain't doing no, Lenny was doing his thing. Lenny
he did his thing, but, so it was interesting walking into the space and everybody was like super buttoned up this year and nobody had like the men. While I would say Austin Butler's tux was perfection. But nobody was like really avant-garde other than Lenny. Like nobody else, none of the men I feel like really went for it and like did anything crazy. So I felt a little naked, but
it was cold, man.
It wasn't that cold.
It was cold. Brothers are like, yo, I'm buttoning up today.
But I think one of my favorite moments was like leading up to it, where I and Donna went to brunch and we just got to catch up and hang out.
I've never met Rob besides us doing the show, so to actually see him in person, and another one of our coworkers, Donna. So it was a very good experience. We had brunch, had a couple cocktails, a good time.
A little champagne.
There you go, a little champagne to ease the pain.
Yeah. So but I was definitely extremely excited leading up to it, and hopeful for a lot of the nominees. Sure, we'll unpack that later.
Yeah, we'll go into that.
Yeah.
Okay, so
how about you?
Well, I was doing like a whole tour. I was traveling with my girlfriend, and she had some business stuff to do at the same time, so it was kind of cool. We went from San Diego to LA to San Francisco. So that was like a week and a half of like traveling. So I had some friends in LA because I used to live in LA, and then I caught up with friends in San Francisco. San Diego was weird, but it was great. The weather was nice. It was a little chilly, but it was like hot and sun. So I was like, okay. So I was like looking for it. And then LA was just rain every day.
That it was.
And if you know LA, if you've ever been to LA, people don't know how to drive in the rain in LA. And when it rains in LA, it's like the world has come to an end. Like everything just slows down. Traffic is crazy. People are just like, ugh, I don't want to do anything. I felt the same way. I was like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to go out anywhere. So luckily the day we met, it was actually nice weather.
Yeah.
When it comes to outfits, I pick my outfit in advance. My only thing is, listen, to this day, I'm going to learn. I'm going to learn how to do this. My word, before the summer, I will learn how to do this. People say you should learn in a week, but
I'm like anticipating what you're going to learn to do.
Yeah, I'm going to learn how to tie a bow tie. I had a bow tie, and I'm wearing it to the event. I have it wrapped around. I couldn't tie it. I'm downloading things to learn how to tie, and like my fingers a little, I think, too stubby to like try to do the underneath the thing. And so I'm talking to all these grown ass old men, like, and they're like, oh man, yeah, I don't even do that anymore. Like there was so they just like, I just buy it connected now. I don't even try it anymore.
You just buy it ready to go. But I get it. You want that skill.
Yeah, and so no, but only that, the look, right? Because I got a nice suit. I was ready to go. Tuxedo pants, shirt. I'm popping. I'm ready to go. Coordinate the shoes. Brothers are complimenting on my shoes. I had the shimmy shine. I did brown, black, brown. Right, so I had the vibe. I was ready to go. Coordinate, and I was ready to go. So I'm like, you know what? I gotta find somebody at the Oscars that knows how to tie a bow tie. Right, somebody's got to know how to tie. Nobody. When I tell you nobody, everybody I knew either had a tie on or had a bow tie, and they were like, "Nah, man, I'm sorry, brother. Sorry, can't help you, man. Hey, nice shoes though. Like your suit. Nice shoes."
So what did you end up doing with the bow tie?
I lost the bow tie, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I lost the bow tie.
So none of the YouTube tutorials, nothing. There was nothing you could do.
I got it
that would
through.
get this bow tie
I couldn't
tied.
get the other side. Like there was a thing you're supposed to do, and then push it through, and then pull. And then for some reason, I just couldn't connect with that pull through.
You couldn't get to the pull.
Over, underneath, pull. I can tie a regular tie, but the bow tie was just not my thing. So again, I don't have short hands, but I have this. I think the stubbiness of the fingers, I wasn't able to finesse the bow tie.
Right.
So maybe I'll even tie it for you guys on live on the show. You know, when I learn to do it.
Maybe we should make this a challenge for next week. I mean, you have a whole 6 days because
I gotta buy another bow tie.
Oh, you just like trashed your bow tie at the Oscars.
No. I just lost it. I don't even know what happened. Lost my bow tie. Like as if I had a crazy night. No, I didn't have a crazy night at all. I just lost my bow tie.
Just lost. It's just floating around somewhere in Hollywood.
And I'm like asking people like, "Hey, you see a bow tie?" Oh, no, brother. But everybody was so nice and really gracious. So anyway,
I feel like that could be a good animated series, like Bow Ties, Hollywood Adventures. You could make a little animated series about your bow tie getting lost at the Oscars, and I was like roaming around Hollywood
versus the night I had. Yeah, 100%. So anyway, let's get to the event. So again, as I said earlier, Rob, this is the Oscars. We're just recapping on that. Anybody tuning in now? So literally, Rob is going to the Oscars. I'm behind the scenes. I'm in the press room. So I'm seeing, so when people win the awards, Rob gets to see them there, but I get to see them like literally up close. They're like 5 feet away from me, people, 5 feet. And I'm like, boom. So every winner that comes in, I get to see. Rob, you get your seats. How are the seats? How you feeling? What's the vibe like? Is it, what's the red carpet like, right? You're walking around. Did you get to see some celebrities? Like what was that about?
Yeah, so we walked in the same entrance everyone else goes into. So we walk into the front entrance of the Oscars. So it was a little bit of a hustle for me because I chose not to take a car service. I was like, I'll walk. It's right down the street. But I didn't realize that if you walk, it's like difficult to get through the gate to actually get to the entrance of the carpet. But I was able to flag security down. I had to like push my way through the fans like standing at the gate. But I was able to get in. It was great. And me and Donna met up on the carpet. And then we went in and started. They were, complimenting cocktails. So we got our programs, walked in, sipped some cocktails and just waited around. Yes, that one, that lovely program right there. So we grabbed a few cocktails. They had like signature drinks. They had like a nice signature margarita. Donna was getting a little champagne on. And then we hustled to our seats and we were like on the first riser up. So we weren't that high off the floor. We were kind of right there.
We weren't nosebleeds. They were premium seats.
They were premium seats because, there were some celebrities on the same level as us.
Who was up there?
Give me one. I don't want to say because I don't want to put their business out and be like, they weren't on the floor. So I'm not going to make them feel bad that they were sitting on the same level as me. But it is a foreshadowing that, it's just me manifesting greatness in my life. So I'll be there.
By the way,
soon.
I love that, Rob. I love that.
So we got to our seats and we actually sat next to a gentleman named Kenny Gravelis, I believe was his name. And he is responsible for a Black man who owns his own creative agency. And he's responsible for all the visuals that you've seen for the Oscars this year.
Wow. Really?
Yeah. So we sat next to him and his daughter. They were really, really sweet. I'm gonna do a little write-up on them on the website because they were awesome and they did. Yeah, I was just really happy to hear that it was
see if we can get
a Black-owned agency that handled that. What's that?
Get him on the show and talk to him about some stuff.
Yeah.
Hey man, doesn't hurt.
So that was our entry into the show. What about you? Because I know you had to get there really early.
Yeah, Rob. We didn't get drinks, Rob. This guy, I'm drinking, different drinks, champagne, No, we did get some food. So I get there, and after the whole bow tie situation, I'm not a writer. I'm not writing anything. My whole goal when I go to this thing is like, my money's on Angela Bassett, and I gotta ask Angela a question. That's it. Now there's only two people of color that are no, sorry, it's actually 4 people of color for different things, but only 2 that I knew about before this was Angela Bassett, and for costume signed Ruth Carter.
And Brian Tyree Henry.
Yeah, and there's another person as well. And so there's actually 3 females and a guy. And so I was like, okay. So just knowing all that, I was like, okay, going into that. So I looked at Vince. Oh, and I was like, ooh, yeah, they're not going for that. They're not going for that. I just know the Oscars, you know, it's getting back to its old ways again. You know, just like, hey, inclusion. Yes, so much inclusion. So going into this, I had to show up on Thursday for the prep. And so I knew where I had to go to come in. I had to be there before 12, because at 12, they shut the red carpet down. That's for all the celebrities and people like Rob that are coming in. I wouldn't get access at that time. So they said, you have to be there before 12 or at 5. Show starts at 5, and then they'll let you access in. I was like, you know what? I took some pictures on the red carpet, walked around just to see how it's actually built. And I was like, oh, man, this is really cool, and envisioning myself for the future of the Oscars, right? Future. That's what we're doing. That's what Rob's doing, manifesting that. And we're out there interviewing and having a good time. So I was just kind of purveying the area and seeing what was going on. And everybody was really nice and friendly. They're like, yeah, go around, take pictures, have a good time. And then I went up to the room, still trying to find somebody to tie my bow tie. But I get a seat and I sit next to this lady from London, and she's an older woman. And she's like, she's done this all the time. And she was just talking to me about the events and stuff. And she was very nice, just awesome, just, you know, letting me know about certain things. And she's just going at it. And then I'm next to Vanity Fair, and these guys are just like, and I'm just like, hi, how are you? How you doing? And then we're getting ready for the event. So it's a lot different than I thought it was, and we thought it was. So this is how it goes. And then we'll go into the winners and stuff like that. The winner will come in after they won their award, whatever category it's for. They will come in. Some came immediately after they won. Some didn't come in until like almost halfway through the show. So I guess the best supporting actor was earlier, and he didn't come in. Ki Hee Wan didn't come in until the end, and he won like that was an early. Yeah. He didn't come in literally till we didn't think we were going to even get him or Brendan Fraser. It was literally at the end of the show. Like no one came in. Best Picture, we didn't get any of those guys for a while. And I was like, what, you know, Best Picture makes sense. It was the last one, but all those big ones, we didn't get anybody coming into the room. So I was like, so we're like, what's going on? So I'm like packing my stuff up, and I'm like, oh man, I guess it's not going to do anything. So anyway, the way it works is, which is kind of crazy, is they give you a number. Here's my number, 129. I want to ask a question. I gotta raise my number. There's over 300 people in this room, ladies and gentlemen. So nothing's guaranteed that I'm going to get my question. So I don't want to say, I will use my words wisely here. The Oscars, the way they set it up, if you were from that country, or if you look like you could identify with that person, you had a better chance of getting a question in. That's how I will say that and phrase that. So all my money was on Angela Bassett. Angela Bassett didn't win. So I was like, damn it. I'm here just to be, you know, just to sit here, and I'm not really gonna be able to work. And so luckily Ruth Carter won, and I was able to ask a question for best costume. So I rose my hand, so they come in. I don't know if you edited that yet, but I'm a little nervous in my voice because she's like, you, and I'm like, and they didn't have the mic to me yet. And I was caught off guard. Normally I'm like, I'm cool, but first time being nervous in a group of people. Normally I'm like, I got this. But for some reason, because, you know, normally they say like, oh, next number on deck. I didn't get it on deck. I was the first. So I was like, hold on, Ruth. Yeah, how you doing? And what they call me? My name is not Roger Carter. It's Brigade Carter. I don't know how they got Brigade. I don't know where.
I think they just said that in the transcribe, but they didn't actually say your name out loud.
Okay.
So they just did that in the transcribe.
Yeah. So that's that's stenographer. Those all sounds. That's a whole
she was like, okay, Brigade.
Yeah, Brigade. Rouge Brigade. No,
same sound.
That's same sounds. Anyway, so that was my experience. So the show started. What did you think of Jimmy Kimmel?
He was hilarious. His open was, I thought it was it was perfect. It was
right?
perfect. And I love how they incorporated him into Top Gun.
Yeah, that was good.
That was really cool.
Not only those are annoying, like MTV old school, but it felt, it kind of like nostalgia, right? It was like, oh yeah, okay.
It was great. Instead of him just walking out, or you know, and he'd parachuted in from the ceiling. It was really, really fun, and it was very fitting for him because he's so like fun and lighthearted. So it was perfect. And I thought he touched every subject we knew he would. He definitely, we knew there was going to be a Will Smith. You know,
he went there a couple times,
but he did it. I think he did it in the right way. It was like
very tastefully,
very tastefully done. And he kind of just, you know, used it as a moment to highlight all of the superheroes who were like sitting among in the audience. So that was fun. I think he only had one joke that landed flat, and people like were on the verge of booing, and it was about it was kind of like making light of women not having like being equal. That was the only joke that kind of like fell flat, but he still was kind of like whatever and just moved on. It was great. So I thought Jimmy Kimmel was perfect. He's the perfect host.
And that was a great kind of switch, right? Because the Oscars was like the security, you felt the energy of the security there. Like at least where I was, like they were like the security's like 10 times more than it was. I mean, I'm like, but Will was you know, he's an actor. Like, why are you souping up the security like that for an actor? Like you know, behind the scenes though, they weren't playing. They're like, yeah, this pass, right? You got this pass here. You try to go to another room, and it beeps the other way. Someone will escort you out. Just want to let you know. I was like, okay. You know, they weren't playing. So I respect that, but it was just it seemed a little bit too extra for an actor. If it was just like a random person off the street that got in and did some stuff, like what was the movie with Bodyguard? You know, so if it was on some Bodyguard tip, I totally understand. But it wasn't no Bodyguard tip. Relax, everybody. It's the Oscars. Anyway, so I digress. Let's get into it. So we're gonna do best actor, best supporting actor, best actress, best supporting actress, and then we're gonna go best picture. What we thought about that, you know, I think we had a couple of things aligned, but there were some surprises, right? There were a couple of surprises here. So we're gonna go into that, and then I would love to hear anything that you loved or didn't like, or a speech you were like, and kind of go from there. Cool. So let's start off with the first one. Let's go best supporting actress. Okay, we're gonna go right into this, Rob.
Really, we're just jumping right in.
Yeah. What do you,
okay. I didn't know you would jump right into that.
Where do you want to go?
No, let's do it. No, I mean that's the biggest upset of the night.
You want to hold up? We'll hold up for that. We'll save that.
No, let's go into it. We already started. It's the biggest upset of the night. Do you want to?
So, best supporting actress in this category, you had some newcomers and some heavyweights here. Angela Bassett, of course, was the favorite in the room that I'm in. I'm in the press room. Everybody and their mother is like, Angela Bassett's gonna win this. Nobody had anybody else but Angela Bassett. Nobody at all. And so when I was like, okay, we're all on the same page there, everything's going on, and then we're going through some things, and they're going through the line of people, and Everything Everywhere, they were just killing it all night. By the way, a side note, so you didn't know what was going to happen, but they call out Jamie Lee Curtis's name, and we're like, the room was like, the gas was like, you can cut it in the air, and the few black folks that were in there, we all looked at each other like, oh man, here we go again. But you felt that in the room, and so that at least made me feel good inside, because everybody in that room, and I tell you, there was only 5 or 6 of us, 4 women, 2 guys, 3 guys, and 7. So 4 women, 3 guys, and so and anybody else you were working. So like I said, the representation, I'm telling you, over 300 people from all over the world. And to everybody to feel that, I want Angela to know, and that was beautiful too. That moment that Michael B. Jordan came up to the stage and they gave a shout out. What's up, Auntie? And you know, I almost listen. That was deep, man, because you felt that pain they always promise us, no, it's different. Things are changing. And not to undermine Jamie Lee Curtis at all. She's been in the game for a long time, so shout outs to her. But it was just like one of those things that like Black Panther and that moment, that scene, that spoke for all of us. I'll speak for myself, but I felt that spoke for all of us, all people of color, all young Black women, all older Black women just have had enough. And they're like, we're fighting for what we believe in and for us. And so to be denied that yet again was like, oh man, why are we even coming to this thing anymore? And
one of my favorite movies of all time, or my favorite performances of all time, is Angela Bassett in What's Love Got to Do With It, which she was nominated in 1994 for Best Actress for her performance, for her portrayal as Tina Turner in the biopic of her life. And when I tell you that woman transformed herself physically, vocally, like everything about her performance that time was spot on and flawless. And move forward to now to 2023, and now we have her as the front runner for this golden statue, where she's won the Golden Globe, she's won the SAG Award, she's won everything leading up to this, and for that to be the snub that happens to this woman who is, like you said, I don't have anything against Jamie Lee Curtis. I do think it was a combination of a few things. It was the Oscars, or the people wanting to, and I don't want to say the Academy because it's the voting members, right? But I feel like it's people trying to apologize for what's going on in the world right now and how it's affecting another marginalized group of people. And it's also annoying that we're still having firsts in 2023. We'll talk about that later with Michelle Yeoh, but like that movie, which again, granted it was a favorite of a lot of people, but to me it wasn't the best of everything, and it won 8 Oscars. But I don't want to take anything away. Everything Everywhere all at once. I don't want to take anything away from anyone who did win an award, but I was heartbroken for Angela Bassett because I truly believed she deserved it, and this was her year for it. But you know what? What God has for her is for her, and I'm sure there'll be another opportunity for her, for Auntie Bassett. She'll get it. It's coming to her. She deserves it. She's earned it. So it's out there.
Well, I have 2 theories on that. So one is with the best thing is Jamie Lee Curtis. I don't know if you got to see the interviews on the red carpet with the celebs when they came in. It's like Hugh Grant went crazy and like other people and stuff like that. So Jamie Lee Curtis, we got to see the red carpet interview, and she was like, I read the script and I didn't get the movie like the first 3 times I read it. And that's so right there I was like, okay, so we're all on the same page, right? I'm like, didn't get it. And then she's like, oh, and then I saw that it's about a love for your mother and da-da-da and all this other stuff. And I was like, but that was big for me to be like the actress, like she didn't get it. She got it later, but like in the beginning when she read the script, like, but I was like, oh, let me just do this movie. So that's why I was like, ugh, So that's my only opinion. Also, which is unfortunately, you always say, we're not, Black people are not monoliths. And so what I think, unfortunately, because Black don't crack, they feel like Angela is aging like a fine wine. So she is. No, I know, but we will give her an award, like, at the end of her prime, it's like in her 70s, 80s. We're like, oh, you get the award. It won't be for an actual, a category, but it'll be like, one of those Oscars they give, the Sidney Poitier Oscar or the blah blah. It's like, come on, man. It's like, how many people get robbed for some amazing work and what's going on? But again, it's my opinion.
Yeah.
But she always does amazing work, and I hope this just makes her stronger, right? And I can't wait. Her story, her documentary or her story, when they do that later, is going to be amazing, right? So
yes,
coming up, young Black actresses that are out there and working their behinds off, you need to get it right, because Angela's story is going to be an amazing story. All right, moving right along, we're going to do Best Supporting Actor. Now, this one we both agreed on.
Yeah.
the favorite, you know, the movie that's just dominating the whole time. Ki Hee Hong, he was in Goonies as a young actor. He was also working in Indiana Jones. I mean, he's one of my favorites as a kid. You know, we're in the same ballpark of age, so like we both grew up on that. Goonies was a classic. When he won, I mean, when I tell you, they pushed. So we got 3 changes. You're in the front, right, and you're sitting there. We got 3 backstage changes. So we'll get a category of how it was going to go, and then it changed. And we got another one how it was going to go, and then it changed again. And I was like, what the hell? And they finally gave us like a bullet. Okay, here we go. So we wanted him to come into the room because there was such like a lull. And I'm not, and not, no disrespect to like other things that were won for like best cinematography and best this. Everybody was like, all right, great. You know, this is great. But we needed that energy at some point. And so he didn't come until later into the room. But when he won, seeing him on stage, we were like, oh my God, we're so excited. I don't know how you felt, but you could feel him through the screen.
Oh yeah.
When he spoke, when he did his speech, when he won.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a beautiful moment. It was a moving moment. Everybody in the audience was anticipating that, similar to Best Supporting Actress. Everyone kind of had the energy of who they expected to win. And his speech was beautiful. And just, you know, for someone to be a child actor and then to have the experience of like, you know, no roles essentially being available for a person who looks like him. So he kind of moved into the background, did other things, stunt work, all those kinds of things. And then now he's back in front of the camera, and to be honored with an Oscar is just it's a beautiful story. And yeah, I think we all remember him, you know, growing up in iconic roles in iconic movies. So it's beautiful to see him be honored in that way. So it was great. It was a great moving moment, and everyone in the audience, it was one of those you know, uproars and cheers where it was like you knew everyone in the room was very, very happy for him, and just excited for the opportunity for the world to share in that experience. So it was a collective yell of excitement in the auditorium.
So here's my only thing I have a problem with. He gives his speech, right? And he's like, George Lucas, I've seen him on interviews. He's like, George Lucas has sent me a birthday gift, you know, ever since I was a kid. And I'm like, how about send me a role, George? What are you talking about? A birthday gift? Come on. Seriously.
You're like, that's the gift of all time, a job.
Right? Give me a job. What are you talking about? But to take my hat off to him, that's how amazing he was, and how gracious he is, how humble he is. He just like, hey, I'm grateful just for anything. And I guess I have to just figure it out. And when I do, I'll know. And that's like, man, I've moved to Hollywood. I take my hat off to you every day, Rob. I mean, acting is one of the most toughest situations because you could be at the highest high one day and at the lowest low the next, literally within 24 hours.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
And that emotional roller coaster is not something I really want. And that's why I was like, you know what, this just isn't for me, because I like to be in a good mood and to not know where you're going to be half the time, just emotionally and mentally. I take my hat off to people that stick with it, because it's tough, man. And especially when you are a minority, right? And then I'm going to go into that a little bit. He speaks upon that. I love, if I would have got a chance to ask him a question, I would have probably asked him like, what does representation mean to you? And then who was your representation when you were growing up, right? And I've never heard him answer that or say that, hey, I saw this in a film. And he may not have anybody, right? Because back then I'm thinking half anybody of color, especially Asian, they had a white guy put makeup on, right? So many movies back then, right? With the Khan or what's his name, like they just had you dressed up and they put like, and that's just the way they did it. And unfortunately, it sucked. And it took away from giving, respect to the people that they were kind of trying to represent. And so anyway, I thought he was a beautiful human being. When he came in later to the room, the whole room erupted. He was like, yeah, I won. He was like, I kept you on. And then, which was my favorite part, and you know what? I'm so grateful to Black film and so grateful for this, is that he said in the room, and you see it on the tape if you want to watch it, but he's like, Goonies never die. And like, I almost, like, the kid in me came out. I was like, yo, you don't understand, man. And his lawyer is what's the name, Chunk from the Goonies. So it's like that family is there, man. That love is there. I need a reunion. I need a reunion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So anyway, anything you want to add on that as before?
Nope.
Nope. Move right along. Okay.
Move along.
Okay. I'm gonna jump in for 2 seconds because we had best costume, Ruth Carter. I wanted to speak on this. So again, I have my number, right? I raised my number. I get to ask Ruth Carter a question. She was amazing. I asked her just basically, how do you make the costume become not the movie, right? Bigger than the movie. And so she answered that lovely, so eloquently too. Her mom just passed away a week ago. So she was in a very a gracious mode, humble, but also very aware of what was going on. I was shocked, and I kind of like she stayed in her lane in a way, but I was waiting for her to say something about Angela or about Black Panther. She did give a shout out to Chadwick and how the set was and what went into that energy on the set, but she didn't mention anything about Angela getting snubbed or anything like that. So, I mean, you know, she kept it respectfully, which is good. I was waiting for a Kanye moment.
I kind of was too. I was like,
you know, I was waiting for somebody to go and say, like, Kanye, hey, where's Kanye when you need him, right? This is he should have been at this event. You ain't gonna give her this. But anyway, so I just want to give a shout out to Ruth Carter for winning best costume. Last thing I'll say on her is there was a press person that looked up stats, right? And she was like, "Oh, you're the first female actress to win 2 Oscars in this category. How does this feel?" In history, the only person in history, a female actress in history to win 2 Oscars. And I was like, "Oh, that's a crazy stat, right?" And she's like, "I ain't old, honey." She's like, "I have time to live. This in history. What do you mean? There's still time, you know? Talk to me." And she made it seem like, talk to me like I'm the GOAT, like I got 5 or 6. Then we can talk. Tell me some Beyonce level, like I got all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? 2 don't mean nothing. And I love kind of like.
But the fact that she's the only African American,
I mean,
have 2 Oscars. It's kind of like, come on, like, why are we still having this be like a first?
But I love she kept it to her. She was like, you know, hey, it is what it is, and she just kept the question moving on. Like it was an intelligent question, but she made it look like it was a dumb question. By the time she was done with that lady, I was like, oh, I'm so glad I'm pulling these stats out.
Like, woo.
She was like, no, honey. We still have to make history here, and so that was the understanding there. So anyway. Moving on.
She looked amazing.
That was hers. She made that.
It was beautiful.
Yeah,
beautiful.
She knows what she's doing. I would love to see her collab with some big kind of. We need
a big global brand.
Brand.
Like was like
big brand.
She looked so beautiful. It was like that bright yellow with that bright pink underneath, and she just looked great. She was perfection on the carpet.
I always get a shout out to Rich Fresh. Shout out to him. I would love to actually get him on the show. I don't know if you know the brother who started the jumpsuits, like the tailored jumpsuits.
No, I don't know.
Oh, you don't know? I'll forward it. Rich,
me on to something, bro.
You should follow Rich Fresh. He is amazing. He has inspired me. I started a blazer company back in the day, but he put a whole new fresh look to it. Like it's tuxedo pants with a jumpsuit top, but it's all like you have to get suited, custom made. I'm not going to give the number out what they cost, but they ain't cheap. But he did a beeline recently, so you know. But he really is creative now. He's doing a woman's line as well. So I've been following him since the pandemic, and he's blown up since then. From making masks, the jumpsuits, all these things. The biggest celebrities wear him. So my point of me bringing him up is, you know, that's what we need. We need more Black creatives out there that are not working for Balenciaga or Hermes or something like that. That we have that label like us. And I pray and I know that Rich Fresh will become that label. Again, you'll remember this when I say this now, man. I'm telling you, that brother's blowing up. And
yeah, we got it on tape. We can roll it back.
There we go. We'll forward it to him. And that's what we're going to do. I want him to be that level because that's what we need on Hollywood walking, right? Walking, I'm like, who you wearing? I'm wearing this guy. This. I'm like, we're still wearing other labels, man. When we can really make our own and make it cool and just different. So anyway, moving on. Well, we're going to do Best Supporting Actress. Sorry, Best Actress. Best Actress. Sorry.
Like, you did that, bro.
St. Patrick's Day, man. You know, having a time. Heard Irish. So, Best Actress. So, this was an interesting category. We went into this knowing who was going to win. Any upset I felt was maybe for Tar, and maybe she was going to win, but I didn't feel like, you know, the whole night felt like it was Michelle Yeoh, right?
Of course, Michelle. Yeah, Michelle Yeoh was definitely gonna win. There was no way she was not gonna win, and it was, of course, the favorite going into it. I think she did deserve it. I mean, if not just for this, just for her body of work. And again, it is just alarming to me that she's the first.
Oh my God! Right,
Asian woman to win Best Actress. So,
but then I'm thinking, like, give me 5 Asian women.
But again, like, it's just like, why is this the norm for?
Well, again, but in history, I'm just trying to think of like that have been on the screen. Like Lucy Liu back in the day, she hasn't. Not no disrespect to her, but I'm saying Lucy Liu, and then I'm trying to think of other but big names. Like
I'm sure we could, you know,
up and comings, but again, it's just.
No, I'm sure we could create a list of phenomenal.
It's a steady work,
but again, it's just alarming. Like, I hate that we're still in an era of like having major firsts.
The 95th Oscars, ladies and gentlemen. It was the 95th Oscars.
Yeah, but it was. She looked phenomenal. Her acceptance speech was beautiful. She was stunning. It was a great night all around for her. So I was very happy for her, and the room was moved for her too. Like, the experience inside of the room was it was anticipation that was actually, that it was expected that was going to be the winner, and I think everyone was like excited and equally like happy that she was. So I don't think there was a snub there, and I think, like you said, I think I was like, oh, Kate Blanchett was great, but I really wanted to see Michelle Yeoh win, and I think it was great. It was a beautiful moment.
So she comes in later, she wins her award. Everybody's up, standing up for her, clapping, and I just looked at the Asian women in the room, and they were glowing and beaming, man. And that's just beautiful to see, right? When you like you are channeling all these young women of color, and they are so excited to see somebody who looks just like them. So she talked about representation, how important it is. She talked about freaking cracking the glass ceiling. She talked about being older and just getting work and saying, hey, I am worth something. I still have value. And so it was just people were tearing up in there. It was very emotional in there. You even saw her co-star on there tearing up as well.
Yeah, she said it during her speech, and she said, don't ever let anyone ever tell you that you're past your prime. And I think that's been kind of a through line for this entire award season. It's been a lot of actors, male and female, who have been winning these prestigious awards, who are of a certain age where people, I guess, expect them to like kind of be like done with their careers, but now they're like bringing all of these really full, beautiful performances to screen, and it's been a great season. And yeah, I think that was a beautiful message from her. Yeah.
There we go. Moving right along. All right. Next up is Best Actor. All right. We knew the juggernauts going into this one. This was tough. Great lineup, but we said originally that we knew it was probably going to be Brendan Fraser. We said
I picked Austin Butler.
You did pick Austin Butler. Yeah, you picked Elvis. I went with Brendan Fraser still, and I said maybe Colin Farrell for upset, but I couldn't see him doing it for again. Elvis is still a beautiful movie, really fun, really great. You get to see a different side of Elvis, but I just knew where the crowd was going. But then I saw The Whale, and I tell you, man, because I didn't see you. We went out to lunch, but then I saw The Whale that night. And when I saw The Whale, oh my God, there's so many layers to that. He's a gay man, lost his lover, has a daughter, not really close to her, and then he has all this weight and he's trying to lose it. And then what's her name is basically enabling him the whole time. Like, it's like, will you stop feeding this man? But it's comfort food, right? Because he needs that right there. He's mourning, and there's all these things, and then to learn the backside behind it, how they had to get this bodysuit on him, but they didn't really have. There's digitally stuff, so all this new technology that was made through this movie. So, and this is all during COVID. So, I mean, the way he portrayed that person on the screen. I mean, I think I've seen that person before, right? I've definitely felt that person before out and about, or just, trying to figure it out and suffering through something. And so, again, if I had to ask him a question, I was going to ask, what would you say to somebody going through all those things I just described, right? Like, how do you get out of that? How do you stay positive? Also, being an actor who had an amazing career. Like, think about Brendan Fraser's career. He was like the man. Like, and he started from the bottom. Now he was here, and then he went back down, and then now he's, this resurgence. And so what I love about, those two winners, not only did they do a movie together, right? They did Encino Man, but you also seen them like literally have such great careers, and then it just boom, dropped out, and then sort of come back up. And that's the ups and downs of Hollywood, which gives people gray hair. Or no hair, or you lose it all.
Absolutely.
So, what do you think about Brendan Fraser winning? His speech?
No, I mean, again, I don't want to take anything away from anybody who won. I think, his performance was great. I do think that was another kind of upset, because I think a lot of people did expect Austin Butler to win that one walking into it. He also won the Golden Globe for it. I just personally, I thought his transformation into Elvis was phenomenal, vocally, physically. But I think Brendan Fraser, absolute congrats to him. Don't want to take it away, but I also, me walking into it, I already said my favorite was Austin Butler, and I just thought it was, I don't know, I don't want to sound like
Austin Butler was fine. That's all.
No, I don't want to have like a.
Man,
but it was so ironic to me that he was sitting next to Angela Bassett. Angela Bassett is holding his hand, and she literally lost that category, Best Actress, for a biopic of a musician who's iconic.
Yeah.
In 1994, and then she loses again today, and then she's sitting next to him holding his hand while he's the favorite. She was also the favorite, and then he lost. It just was heartbreaking to me to watch that, both of those moments for him and for Angela Bassett. But they both have time. They both have, wonderful careers ahead of them. So, but yeah, Brendan Fraser.
Years, right?
That's my thoughts.
Hey, either way, check out all those films, though. I mean, The Whale is a great movie. Elvis is honestly, I went into Elvis with hate. But they make certain people the bad guys, so you're able to actually just take in what Elvis has to be, and his performance is unlike any performance. I mean, I'd say the next closest thing you gave it up to Angela Bassett for her performance of Tina Turner, but yeah, Tina Turner and also Ray. That movie is still one of my favorite movies of all time, and so that performance is unlike any performance I've seen before. So he was very, I mean, like I said, Austin Butler, he was there, man. He was in that Ray getting into it. You're like, oh man, who's like, are they dubbing? And when you learn even more that the scenes, so that was a cool thing, like learning about cinematography and stuff like that behind the scenes. Like they actually got identical. Like there's a scene where he's on the stage in the black leather outfit, and Austin Butler got to keep that outfit, which is pretty cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, yeah, so you see all that pan around him, and everybody, it's identical. Like if you look at that shot and you look at the original, it's identical. And to get that, like right, to get that cut, go, and just on point is mind blowing to me. And the future of movies is just crazy, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyway, last but not least, category is best movie. What do you think? What do you think of that category? A lot of movies, right? I think there was 10 movies nominated.
Yeah, there were a lot of movies nominated.
Sorry, they call it Best Picture. I say Best Movie.
Best Picture, yeah.
Best Picture. So 10 movies were in Best Picture. Who was your original pick again, Rob?
I said I thought the Fabelmans was going to win because
I thought that was a good one, but
yeah,
I said,
but only because it was the front runner walking into it. But
then
also,
it was like, you know what? They love war movies.
Yes, also that.
And so All Quiet on the Western Front, they were sweeping movies left and right.
Yeah, it won a lot that night too. But I also think at that point, when we got to that point, even if you didn't expect it, you were like, we already know what's going to happen at this point, because they had already gotten 7 Oscars, some that I don't whatever. But again, I'm a person who I watched that movie and I was like, it was okay. It was fun. I watched some rocks talking to each other for a good portion of the movie.
Everything Everywhere wins. Everything Everywhere wins.
And
so that's my episode. So I'm looking at All Quiet on the Western Front. I'm like, oh wow, they're winning a lot of pictures here. But, you know, best photography, best this, but I'm like, okay, they might actually take best picture. And then Fableman's not getting anything. They're nominated for a lot of stuff, but they're not getting anything. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, I think it might be All Quiet on the Western Front. And then they say Everything Everywhere. And I'm like, oh, and the crowd, and then everybody was clapping for them as well. Again, half the room does not know what that movie still is.
Or don't understand it. They need to watch it another 7 times.
But I even love so we'll go into that too right after that. But the director was very interesting. The speech, it was different. It was just like, hey, this is a very special, unique movie from the heart, and it's, you know, giving love to your family, your friends, you know, all of that. I love that they won a couple of awards, so they got to come up and give more of a speech. And then behind the scenes, he gave another speech and gave 3 more speeches. I was like, wow, you just got a lot to say and get up your chest. But what did you think about that moment? How was that sitting there in the audience? It's the last big one of the night. How was that?
Yeah, like I just was saying before, even if you weren't expecting that to be the win, the film that was going to win, at that point of the night, you were like, yeah, it's going to be Everything Everywhere All at Once. So everybody in the room was like, yeah, it's going to be like half the room was
excited like, for them, or you're just like,
half of the room, I would say a big portion of the room was excited for them, but then you could tell there were a lot of people like, yeah, this is kind of the theme of the night, so it is what it is. So yeah, there were a lot of people standing up, a lot of people sitting down. That happened quite a few times throughout the night, because I do think a lot of people were like, that another snub. But yeah, it won Everything Everywhere All at Once, all at one night.
That's a good, Everywhere one night. So a couple questions to you, Rob. Seat fillers. Did you get to witness the seat filling, and how does that go down?
I did actually.
A geek and a kid, you know, about like, so how seat fillers work?
Like, I did, because there was a big chunk of the front of the front, like 3 rows that were late, and so so after Jimmy Kimmel opened, you saw a big group of people shuffle out, and then all of the talent shuffle in. So like literally that whole row where Tim,
they running or they shuffling?
They were walking in casually, but they were late. So, but they weren't late to the event because they were on the carpet. I think they were just late. They were late getting through the carpet to get into the room. So yeah, there was a big like row or 2 of talent that were late getting to their seats. So the show started, they had to shuffle all the seat fillers out and then shuffle them in. So it was interesting. And then I ran into a seat filler when I was arriving. She was really sweet. She was like, "You have a ticket?" And I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "Let me help you get in, honey." So she was trying to get me in. She was really sweet. Shout out to her if she ever sees this. But she was like flagging people down. She was like, "He has a ticket, get in there." Because I was at the gate, like, I don't know. I was supposed to take a car, but I walked, and here I am stuck behind this gate. But she was really sweet, and she tried to help me get in, but it was fun. It was fun. Yeah. So the seat filler thing I did get to see. I got to meet one, and then got to see it in real time.
You know what? Shout out. Listen, man, that event, and I didn't forget it, but you just reminded me of that. And sorry, I'm fluttering my words, but I want to say this the right way. I love us sometimes in such an amazing way. Sometimes I'm disappointed, sometimes, but like when we're on it, we're on it. And so the people of color that work there, the brothers that were working the security and came up, they came up to me so many. Yo, bro, you need anything, brother? You okay? Everything's all right. And I'm like, yeah, like as if I was like, so and so. I was like, yeah, man, I'm fine.
You're like, is Denzel here or is it me?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was like, am I Michael B. Jordan's cousin? And so I felt that energy, and I want to say thank you to them. The staff they were so hospitable. I mean, even though, because you're coming back and out of the thing, and they're like, hey, man, if you need, the water's upstairs. Whatever you need over here is over there. Yeah, man, let me know. I lost my bow tie. Oh, man, we'll try to find it. But it's good. And like, they were just so amazing. Hey, brother, I love your shoes. Oh, man, you better watch out. Man. So it just reminded me a little bit of my uncle, a little bit of family. When you're at the barbecue, like, those are the type of people that had work in there. Like, they were like, hey, man, let's just have a good night. And I was like, yes, this is what we're about. And shout out to the other brother who helped take the pictures for me. There's a brother I met there. He works for BET sometimes. He was amazing. He's like, man, you need somebody to take a picture. I was like, yeah. He's like, I'll take your picture. You take my picture. And we went back and forth on the red carpet. And it was just, I mean, when we saw each other, it was just amazing. Like, everybody's like, hey, brother, how you doing? Hey, man, how you doing? It was like, wow. I felt like I went back into like when Harlem was all black and everything was great. No, seriously, like, everybody was just so positive, and just motivating and inspiring, and just so happy to be working an event and being a part of that. And so you can't make that up, right? They don't have to do that, but they did. And so shout out to those guys and women as well that were just amazing and just so gracious and helpful.
Yeah, and everybody, like, honestly, everyone who works in that publicity department at the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, they're all so kind, and they're also like helpful. And you would just be like, you're like, these people are so like communicative and helpful and kind. And I'm sure they have like a million things happening leading up to that for at least 6 months. But even like a month before, 2 weeks before, the week of, they're all so like kind and polite, and they're a class act over there. They really are. They just were really great.
Anything else you want to bring up that you maybe at the event happened, or someone won an event and you're like, or
yes. So, great funny moment. So when you leave the Oscars and you go to the governor's ball, it's like you go upstairs to the governor's ball, and everybody is going up together. So it's like the honorees are going up together, the winners, the presenters, everyone is going up together. And that's like you're going up the escalator. So you get in line, get on the escalator, get in line, get on the escalator, and you go into the governor's ball.
Wait. What, the governor's ball was upstairs?
It was upstairs, yes. So
yeah, so like Rob didn't text me about the ball.
Well, you had to have a ticket. You had to have a ticket. So if you didn't have a ticket, you wouldn't let you in. So, and Donna and I were lucky enough to have a ticket. So we had a ticket. So Donna and I get out of our seats and we're going up, and we hear someone behind us go, is this the line to get up to the governor's ball? And we turn around and Colin Farrell is standing literally next to me and Donna. And
now you have a Colin Farrell story now too?
Yeah, he's asking me and Donna, he's like, is this the line to get up to the governor's ball? And we're like, yeah. And
do the accent. Come on, give me that.
So
this is your debut. Give me that.
So me and Donna turn around and we're like, you don't have to wait in line, right? And then he's like, well, this is one of those moments where it would help to have an Oscar. No, I'm not gonna do that. So he's like, this is one of those moments where it would help to have an Oscar. And Donna was like, I used to be a publicist. If you need help, I'm gonna just walk you to the front. And he's like, no, I got. So he goes to the front and goes up. So it was hilarious, but everybody's like crowded in there. And the fact that he got in line behind me and Donna was absolutely hilarious. We about fell out. We're like, if you don't go get to the front of this line, they know who you are. You don't have to have your Oscar.
Shout out to him, because I tell you my story. He used to be a drinker. So like, listen, when you're sober and you're being polite and being nice and like, hey, okay, I'm in order, I'm humble. You didn't win at all. You're being gracious. That's a good mindset, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, he was very, very kind.
What's the picture? You should be like, hey, plan, let's do this.
I was like, go, if you don't get in the front of that line.
You stay here any longer, you don't have to take a picture with us. Oh man, that's how you do it.
He would have done it though. He was so polite.
That's it. Get one. All right. Yeah, guys, I didn't have any of that. I went home, had a top. Yeah, that's my. Good times. I went home and I rode a. I forgot to tell you, I rode a scooter there and I rode a scooter back.
In your suit?
Oh yeah.
Maybe your bow tie is stuck to that scooter somewhere.
Hey, who knows, man? But anyway, good times. This is our Oscar recap. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. I am your host, Ro Carter, and my co-host Rob Smith. Thank you guys. Next week, hey, let's do. Luther just came out on Netflix.
There it is.
And if you want to be really crazy and adventurous, we can watch Creed 3. It's too much.
Yeah, we can do both.
Okay. It's been a while. But because Creed's going to be, wait another week, is done. It's done. Creed 3 and Luther next week, everybody. Luther's good on Netflix right now. It's actually, if you like Luther, you will love the movie, I think.
There it is.
All right. Have a good night, everybody. See you next week.
Peace.
Peace.